Now, after years on the run in Dubai, international law enforcement agencies, the US authorities, and Garda, now I'm going to struggle to pronounce that, Irish police have finally closed the net on one of Europe's most powerful crime bosses. The alleged cartel leader, Daniel Kinahan, has been extradited back to Ireland on a government jet and remanded to high security Portlaoise prison, where he faces charges of directing organised crime. To help us break down this landmark moment in the fight against international drug cartels, we're joined by Stephen Breen, who's crime editor at the Irish Sun and co-author of The Kinahan Assassins. Good evening to you, Stephen.
Good evening.
Apologies for mashing up so much of that. How big a moment is this? Just set the context for us as someone who knows the Kinahan family inside out.
I think it's a very significant moment in terms of the investigation into the Kinahan organised crime group. This is an investigation which spans many borders. It has been ongoing for many, many decades. In 2010, the Irish police, in conjunction with their partners in Europe, in Spain and Holland, launched a major investigation against the Kinahan cartel. On that occasion, no charges were brought in terms of anybody appearing before the court in relation to arms trafficking, drug trafficking, murder and money laundering. So in recent years, you've had a very strong effort. I think the Irish police realised that in order for them to achieve their objective of dismantling the Kinahan organised crime group, they could only do that through international cooperation. And they did that by working closely with the authorities in the UK, across Europe and indeed in America. And I think in 2022, when you have the US Treasury Department issuing $5 million rewards leading for information on Daniel Kinahan, his brother, Christy Jr. and his father, Christopher Kinahan Sr., it shows that the intent was there from law enforcement. And in recent years, you've had many senior figures within the Kinahan organised crime group now serving time for murder, for firearms, for drug trafficking, and indeed in the UK, you have Thomas Bomber Kavanagh, one of their most senior figures, now serving a very long sentence for drug trafficking as well. So it has been ongoing, but to have Daniel Kinahan back on Irish soil, he's now facing a very serious charge, is a very significant moment in terms of this ongoing investigation.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's been able to claim that $5 million bounty for information on the senior members of the Kinahan gang. I don't suppose we'll ever know, will we?
Not as yet. I mean, that reward is still in place. There was also an email was set up, an email address for anyone with information relating to the activities of the Kinahan organised crime group to contact that email. At the time when the press conference was made in Dublin, when you had representatives from the NCA, from the Irish police and the American authorities as well, they were confident that they would have information coming into them. It's a lot of money, and it's certainly a life-changing money. And like many organised crime groups, loyalty doesn't last too long and relationships change. So, but in terms of any developments coming from that or arrests being made, the authorities are keeping that close to their chest, but it still remains in place. And it is hoped that people will continue to come forward with information in relation to the ongoing investigations that are taking place.
Yeah, I mean, now that Daniel Kinahan has been charged, I mean, obviously this is subject to a trial, although he chose not to represent, or he chose not to have legal counsel at the hearing. The presiding judge noted his lack of legal representation, and Kinahan stood up in the dock and said, "Yes, that is correct, Your Honour. I didn't have time to arrange anything," which I think people were pretty surprised by. Now, he's on charges. Of course, he has to be proven guilty in a court of law. But do you think that indicates how he's going to approach this, do you think? How much do we know about Daniel Kinahan? And how he will approach any subsequent trial?
I think he will fight this every step of the way. I think he will employ the best barristers that Ireland has to offer. He's already indicated in a podcast interview that he did that this is some kind of conspiracy by the media and by the Irish state in terms of bringing evidence and bringing him to court. But I think when it comes to trial, he will vehemently and very strongly defend this and attempt to prove his innocence. Of course, if you look back just a number of weeks ago, his close confidant who was living in Dubai, Sean McGovern, was convicted. He was sent back to Ireland from the UAE as well. He's now serving a 24-year sentence. So if Kinahan is convicted, it shows the type of sentence that he might face. So I think he's been used to a life of luxury for so long. He's never been in custody before. He's never served any serious jail time. He's now being held in Ireland's maximum security prison. So the life that he will be accustomed to in the past, that's gone for the moment. So there's no doubt that when the trial comes around, that he will do everything he can to earn his freedom once again.
Yeah, look, I haven't got it in front of me, but the Kinahan cartel were responsible for shifting a lot of cocaine, weren't they, when you look at the kind of market in this area of the world? Heroin as well. So there's no doubt that this will have an effect on the drug trade, or will it, is my question. Is there another version of the Kinahans out there?
I think if you look at the Kinahan organisation in 2016 and 2017, that organisation no longer exists. And that's primarily down to the investigations that have taken place in the UK, in Ireland, and indeed in Europe. And to have the Americans come on board and to identify the Kinahan organised crime group in the same breath as the Italian mafia, as the South American drug cartels, it shows a willingness there to apprehend those at the heart of that criminal organisation. But also in recent years, the Irish police, along with the customs and revenue, have had major successes against the criminal grouping. I think there are still representatives of the Kinahan organisation still in Europe. They're still involved in drug trafficking, but in Ireland we have seen in recent years new criminal organisations, new transnational criminal organisations come to the fore and flex their muscles in the sense that other criminal groupings are now seeing the Kinahan gang as toxic because of the influence that they once had is now disappearing, and you have this international focus on the criminal gang by the Kinahans, and with that international focus, it's bad for business. So I think you do have other criminal gangs who are, flexing their muscles and willing to step into the fold, into the vacuum, and that's something that never happened before. But there's no question that they do still exist. They do still have representatives in Ireland, but they're not killing people at the same level that they were during the vicious feud in 2016 and 2017.
Well, that is something, Stephen, although the situation does seem pretty grim. We'll watch this one closely. Daniel Kinahan, charged with directing the activities of an organised crime group. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your expertise across this. Stephen Breen, who's crime editor at the Irish Sun and co-author of Kinahan Assassins. Thank you.